converting from quadratic form to vertex form, we need to know what vertex form looks like, and what it looks like is something like this. F of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Whenever we see something like this, some binomial squared, right, two terms squared in parentheses squared, we know we're going to need to complete the square. We have to be able to write this as something that has one of these in it, which means we're going to need to complete the square strategy. So that's kind of where we're headed. We also know at the very end we just need f of x by itself or y by itself or whatever. So I'm gonna copy this problem down here in this extra space that I have, and we'll go from here. So for y equals 4x squared minus 40x plus 101. Notice that I used a y instead of an f of x because we're going to do some algebra, and it's kind of nice to use y's versus f of x. Oh, sorry, this is a 101. That will change things. Okay. What we need to do is get everything that doesn't have an x away, because we're going to complete the square for this. We're going to make a perfect squares trinomial. So I'm going to minus 101 from both sides. Okay, before I complete the square, I need to make sure that there's no number or coefficient or negative in front of my x. Right now there's a 4, which means I need to divide by 4 everywhere. So I'm going to divide by 4, divide by 4. Okay, I'm not worried about simplifying this side at all. I don't care. We're actually going to get the y by itself later. On this side, though, I need to make sure that each piece is divided by 4. So on the left, we have y minus 101 over 4. On the right-hand side, we're going to have 4x squared over 4 minus 40x over 4. So this is going to cancel, and this is going to give us a 10x. Okay. So y minus 101 over 4 equals x squared minus 10x. Okay, now we're ready to complete the square. Oops. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the middle term by 2 and then square that. So negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. We square that to get a positive 25. But we can't just do it on one side. We got to do it on both sides. Okay. Next, we're going to factor the right-hand side, or write it as a binomial squared, which is the whole point of completing the square. So we're going to have x minus 5 squared. And remember how we know that is it's this guy divided by 2. That's what goes in there. But you have to complete the square first. I saw a couple people on the homework. They didn't even add 25 on both sides. They just went straight from here and tried to factor it to this, which is not the case. And if you FOIL it out, you could tell that that's not the case. Now what we need to do is we need to start pushing stuff back over to the other side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract 25 from both sides. Minus 25, minus 25. Okay. Then we got to get rid of that divide by 4. So we're going to multiply by 4, multiply by 4. But be careful because we need to distribute this 4 to this and to this. Okay, so 4's cancel on here, that's what we want. And then we get y minus 101 equals 4 times x minus 5 squared. And then we also have 4 times that negative 25, which would be negative 100. Okay, last step is we want to get y by itself, so we need to add 101, add 101. And what is negative 100 plus 101? It's just 1. So what we want is f of x equals, so I'm just doing f of x now instead of a y. We got 4 times x minus 5 squared, and then plus 1. So this was a negative 100 plus 101. That's going to be a positive 1 plus 1. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. And let's see if we can find it. That's a minus 1. There's a plus 1 right here. Okay, double check everything. Yep, looks like that's what we're after. So the order that you take it may not be that order, the order of the answer choices, I mean, but that's how you go about doing that one. So there's 3 different types of problems where you'll complete the square. Basically, when you're putting stuff in focal form, when you're trying to put stuff in standard form, if it's a circle, you're trying to put it in standard form. When you're trying to do into vertex form, they're all kind of similar, but there's subtle changes between each one of them. So make sure you know how to do each one of those.